Welcome back to the Angry Man Podcast with Jason and Greg. So, Jay, breaking news. Terence Crawford has been stripped of the IBF title, and Jaron Ennis has been elevated to full champion. Now, I was still hoping if there was a situation where Terence Crawford did not rematch Errol Spence, that he could possibly take on the challenge of Jaron Ennis. Now, I don't know if Terence Crawford has informed the IBF via a written notification or verbally that he had no intentions on fighting Jaron Ennis, but clearly he has informed them of such. Or if it was a situation where they had an expiration date out there in terms of informing them on his desire to face Jaron Ennis. But regardless, Jaron Ennis is now the IBF champion at welterweight. And for those of you who are interested in seeing that, let me just go ahead and share that very quickly. I like to try to share it, Jay, if I possibly can. So Ennis. Now, where does Terence Crawford go from here? I'm not certain of where he goes from here, Jay. I know that he wanted the opportunity to face Canelo Alvarez. I'm quite sure that everybody knows at this point in juncture that Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez is simply not going to happen. And this may lend credence to what we said in another video, which was that Errol Spence is now in a better position in terms of leverage in negotiating with Terence Crawford, because I don't believe his options are as great as a lot of people once thought they were. It's just as simple as that. But again, I was still hoping that there was an opportunity at some point. Maybe, Terence Crawford might just think, you know what, man, I'm going to take on this young gun. I'm going to show everybody why I'm the best at 147 pounds. It was a short reign as the undisputed champion. And now I guess we move on and we find out where Terence Crawford goes from here. But Jay, again, there was a whole bunch of narratives out there talking about the WBC next and all these people that really didn't want to see Jaron Ennis in the ring with Terence Crawford, calling him trash and stuff like that, when they know that's not true. Yep. When they know in reality they simply don't want to see their man in the ring with a guy that's that young, that strong, that long, that with that level of skill and power. That was truly the situation. But all that notion that the WBC was next and that, they had this particular order, I knew that wasn't true. We knew that the date was out there that, they had to, or he had to defend against Jaron Ennis, because that date was out there prior to the Errol Spence fight. And when Terence Crawford won the title, he then needed to honor that date. Bozy had been saying it for a while that they got to fight Boots or give up the title. They got to fight Boots or give up the title. And in fact, that is exactly what happened. So, Jay, what are your thoughts in regards to Jaron Ennis being elevated as the new IBF champion and Terence Crawford stripped and apparently moving on?
It's just a matter of time. And people can't say, oh, this is just against Bud. It's not against Bud. This was going to happen regardless, because Bozy been saying this since for the longest. We knew that if Spence had won, we knew Spence was going to drop those belts and go to 154 anyway. So that belt would have gone to Jaron Ennis or a fight for the vacant belt either way. So this was going to happen regardless. So it's nothing against Bud. But this does give validity to us saying that Bud's moving up. He's going to 154, to fight the rematch with Spence and then go on from wherever. Whether he stays at 154 after that fight, 160, try to go to 168, try to get a Canelo fight that we both feel that he's not going to be able to get, because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make enough dollars for Canelo in that regard there. So I would have liked to see, especially with, we haven't heard anything much from Spence except for him activating his rematch. And even that was uncertain because of, we don't know the contract. 1 minute they said the fight had to be done, rematch had to be completed by the end of this year. We know that's not happening. So we don't know what's going on as far as the rematch fully. We know he activated, but you never know where things go. More money, more problems could be going on with that, with Bud asking for more money or anything else. So, but yeah, I'm kind of happy for Boots. He gets a belt, but I'm just seeing the type of fighter that Boots is and the competitor he is. I know this is not the way he wanted to get this belt. People are probably going to go out there and start saying that he's Devin Haney.
He's an email champion. He's an email champion. That's exactly where I was going.
Yep.
They're going to say he's an email champion.
That's
Exactly.
Yep. They're going to say he's an email champion. He didn't earn it. He didn't do anything else. He tried. He did everything he could. You know, he waited. He fought who was supposed to fight. He couldn't get other fights. Evidently, you know, we just did a video a couple of days ago with Cody Crawley, who was supposed to be probably the one that he was going to fight anyway for another pretty much IBF eliminator, almost sitting on ice. You know, and it got to the point where now that fight probably would have been for the vacant IBF title. Now that I'm thinking about it, the fight with him and Cody Crawley probably been for the vacant IBF title.
Why? He was already interim champion.
Well, yeah. Well, I guess solidify it as him being the actual champion. You know,
yeah,
instead of just being an interim champion. So it's just. For Boots, I think he really wants to be. He just don't want to be a champion. He wants to beat the best. He wants to beat the champion so he can say he is the champion. You know, he'll take it, of course. You know, this is very similar to Tim Tszyu and Brian Mendoza fighting for the vacant belt that Mel got stripped of. Very similar, but except for Boots ain't fighting nobody for it. He had already fought beforehand, who's interim champion, and then he gets it finally. In this way here, and just like Tim Tszyu really wanted to fight Mel, still wants to fight Mel to prove himself, to fight the best at the weight. Same thing with Boots. I see Boots wanting the same thing. He wants all the smoke with everybody, you know. But he's not an email champion. He's going to be a champion here, and then we're going to see what he does next. Because on there, I saw on the website said that he had the mandatory had to be defended by July 29th. So I'm quite sure. I know Boots is going to be fighting. That'll be his first defense anyway, probably in January, February, whenever he fights again.
No, that date was July 29th, 2023. The date of the Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford fight. That's what was listed there.
Yeah, they had another thing that said mandatory for the 2024.
I didn't see that part.
Yeah. So, but he's gonna have a fight before then anyway. So, well, not gonna make a difference on him. Just who he fights, that's what we don't know. We know it won't be Spencer or Bud for sure. But
yeah,
we'll see what Bud does next.
It's all good. I mean, you know, it's going to be what it's going to be. He's in the position that he's in, and he's got to make the best of that position. At the end of the day, it's no fault of his that, you know, he got the title and didn't get the opportunity. I mean, to an extent, he won it in the ring. I mean, winning the interim title, but not officially becoming the champion in the ring. It's not necessarily his fault that occurred. And hopefully he'll get the opportunity to face somebody that's, you know, of significant stature or standing within the sport here soon, because at this point, what, Boots is 26, 27? Somewhere around there?
Yeah, I think 26.
Yeah, so I know he's ready to pick it up and get in the ring with the best that the division has to offer. So we'll see what ends up happening in that regard. Hopefully we'll hear from Terence Crawford soon and what his plans are. It's not going to be Canelo Alvarez next. I don't think it's going to be Canelo Alvarez after that fight and the fight after that either. So we'll see what he has in his future moving forward. And I'm looking forward to seeing what's announced here over the next few weeks. You guys tell us what you think in the comments section. Breaking news, Terence Crawford has been stripped of the IBF title and Jaron Ennis elevated to the IBF welterweight champion. Don't forget to hate, like, comment, and subscribe. This is the Angry Man Podcast, AM Sports Media, and we are